we made a mistake. And for 4 years we paid. We vote incompetence, hoping for directions. It's only bacchanal, like a set of schoolgirls. While the country sinking, them handicaps can't do nothing, nothing. Oh Lord, put a hand, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. And we ballin', ballin', people ballin', ballin'. Poor people suffering, they can't take it again, again. Oh Lord, save us from Nazim until man. Boy, we can't take another pressure. Save us from Nazim until man. For 4.5 years, all you have is in tears. Your failure to perform, that is your direction. And I yes, you clean out, people living in doubt. Let me tell you plainly, till man, you can't run this country. Oh Lord, put a hand, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. And we ballin'.
Yeah, I think we had to change that one in.
Ballin'. Poor people
Save us from Andy and Deacon. Yeah, we ain't changing Nazim until man. I change it to Andy and Deacon. Yeah.
Teachers can't sleep in peace. Nurses sent home with ease. No consideration for the poor man. Every day is more lie. We fed up on mama guy. They ain't had no vision. It's like a set of dumb. Oh Lord, put a hand. Save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees. Rescue us from NBC please. And we ballin'. People ballin'. Poor people suffering. They can't take it again. Oh Lord, save us from Nazim until man. Whoa, pressure. Save us from Nazim until man. Mr. Adrian Thomas, the new year just passed we. Never in we history. Carnival gone so long, still we can get we money. With them culture vultures, like Glenn and Persuader. I hear mortgage pay off. So the rich can't talk. Oh Lord, put a hand, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. And we ballin'. People ballin'. Poor people suffering, they can't take it again. Oh Lord, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. Pressure, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. Oh Lord, put a hand, save us from Nazim until man. We down on we knees, rescue us from NBC please. Oh Lord, put a hand.
For there is a wind of change, it blowing through the Spice Island.
Listen to the people, Mr. PM. Don't play with the Grenadian people, cause the wind is turning around. At all, like all you did only plan how to win. And after that, all you can do are thing. At all, poor people balling, they can't eat a meal. So what? It's like all you deaf and can't hear that still. Still waiting for one project to take off. Like it's done in Nazim, how them could start. But prepare yourself and bang your belly, cause the wind turn around, heading back for we. So I said the wind of change, it blowing in the next direction. Man, the wind of change, it blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the street, we want kids. Man, they say they're tired, they can't.
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott, here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
We want kids. Hear the young men out on the block.
Hope that you all are having an absolutely wonderful night thus far.
Listen to them. Every day is blah, 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 blah. That alone. And they can't see action to back it up. Oh, Lord. Woo. I say be careful, the wind turning around. Be careful. Woo. PM like the whole country and a heart. Like your
Well, folks, remember to like and share the program, yeah?
Teachers pondering on what they go do. The bushing program or your
A lot of folks don't, I wonder, maybe I need to give a little demonstration on how to like and share the program,
No talk about corruption anymore. Don't fool on yourself, but the people know. They know. So I said the wind of change, it blowing in the next direction. Man, the wind of change, it blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the street. We want kids. Man, they said it time.
So let me give a little example of how to like and share. Let me just pull it up here. Yeah, this is to show you how to like and share. Now, if you want to like and share, what you do, you see here, you're seeing everything here. You coming down here, and you're clicking on this. Yeah, you see the little thing like a thumb down here. You're clicking on that. Right, now you like. And then you see the thing that look like an arrow down. Right, you're clicking on that and share public. And you could click on it again and share to friends. All right, so now you see how to like and share.
The wind turn around. Woo. Open your eyes, sir. Listen to us, sir.
Now to do it for YouTube, let's see if we could pull it up for YouTube now. Yeah, the same kind of thing go happen. You're going to see a multiplicity. Right, so with YouTube now, you're going to do this and you're just going to click on right here. You see the little thing here that on 20, they leave it to 21. Right, nice. You see that down here with the little thumbs up. You give it a little thumbs up and so. And you can share, and you could share it to WhatsApp and different things if you have WhatsApp on your computer and so you could share it like that as well. All right, nice. Yeah, so that's how you like and share.
Change, it blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the streets. We want kids. And they said it.
I think I want to try one more before we get into our discussions for tonight. It is a Thursday night, and of course we have a Thursday night talks. The phone lines are open already. You can call from now, huh?
And the pillar strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillar strong. Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around. The house solid and the pillar strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on.
Me say a good night to you, Alan Jones, Michelle, and Zoe.
Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around.
Exalia, good night to you. Zoe, good night to you. Zayla, good night to you. Namara, good night to you. Neela, good night to you. The progress of the party here, the country, well, we ain't having that here right now. Gemma Warwood, good night to you. Agnes Henry, Vanessa Lalji, Alban Harris, good night to you, bro. Claude Abraham, Gavin Thomas, Listra Abraham, Debbie Seals, Errol Bonaparte, Jackie Raymond, Michelle Alexander, Dominic Leroy, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, good night, my dear. Jacket Man, good night.
Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Cynthia Bartholomew, good night to you. Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, good night to you. Phyllis Mitchell, yeah? Ashma Charles, Kathleen Ledlow. Carib Spice Fitness, good night to you. Sky, Alcy Peters, Good Life, Stephanie John, good night to you and the entire home circle.
Don't stop the progress.
Oh Lord, put a hand, save us from Andy and Deacon. Sheldon Douglas usually one does sing, not this Sheldon doesn't sing, the next one does sing, yeah.
Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Gleason Clovey, good night to you. Herbert Norey, good night.
Don't stop the progress.
Baby Daddy,
Yes. Don't stop it.
Gloria Francois.
Stop the progress. Don't stop it.
Margaret Superville, Jessie Sherry.
Don't stop it.
Jerome Lewis, Miriam Samuel, Christine Otley, Clive Raymond, Kathleen Knights, Teresa St. John, Liza Bernard, Janice Mitchell, Jocelyn Matheson, Marilyn Ferguson, Yolande Pariag, Gloria Francois, Lucy Andrew, Teresa St. John, Antonito, Wendy Telesford, let me see, Jenna Benjamin who's there, Red Girl Pascal, Ann Andrews, Derek is there, Carl Jones, good night bro. Hey, Carl Jones, I ain't see you for a while, man. Yeah, maybe I'm in the wrong areas. Diego Humphrey, good night. Sandra Joseph, John Batiste, Marian James, Wilma Devonish Sherms hosting, Matthew Bowen, Sandra Pascal, good night to you. Yes, and I know. Exilia. Yeah, she upset. Yes, I know. Sherms Wilson, Adrian Watts, good night to you. Natalia John, Ron Julian, good night to you as well. Yeah. And over on the Facebook, and quickly, Ingrid Bourne, Bernadette Joseph, Donna Langdon, Charmaine Ragbasing, Pamela Hackett, Laslyn Douglas, yes, I see you there, Nakisha Jones, and Enid Dekoto, Donna Langdon, Dr. Julie Dubois, good night to you, Meryl George, Meryl, yes, Nelsia Charles, good night, and I see Kenrick Gordon, My Solia Dixie and Victor, good night to you. Cindy Charles, Sherms, yeah, I showed out Sherms already. Kelly Francis, Louisa Williams, Kenrick Gibbs, good night. McLean Mitchell, Olive McKean, Tegwa, good night to everybody. All of you listening, no matter where it is that you're listening, I just say a special, glorious Grenadian good night to each and every one of you. Miss Gloria, good night to you. My nephew Devon, I know you're listening. Good night to you. Uncle Ba, yes, good night to you.
When the rulers of men,
Auntie Sylvie, good night. Rastaman Ira, good night to you. Margaret and Moulton, good night to both of you. I know that you're listening, whether who in the kitchen or who in the living room. I know you're listening. Patricia and Matthew. What's up, Matthew? Let me say a special good night to you, Etta Batiste. Yes, and your message was delivered, Miss Etta Batiste. So, folks, yeah, a week and what is it now? 4 days? A week and 4 days. We are still yet to hear from the government of Grenada in relation to the happenings. Yeah? By this time, I believe the Prime Minister is on island. I think he was supposed to have returned either today or last night. Well, he ought to have returned to the island. Has he returned? I'm not sure. Any of you that see the vehicle pass or you see him somewhere, you all might know. But I am not sure if he did return yet. We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Good night.
Good night, caller.
Sheldon, how are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. You're live. Go right ahead.
Okay. Sheldon, I don't find us seeing police patrolling in the night, and they say they have a prisoner outside. And to be serious, what making me scared now? Remember, we have 3 prisoners who get away and go and kill two foreigners. Mm-hmm. And remember, you have people, staff was dropping them off from work, and sometimes they're not dropping at home. Some they're dropping Red Gate, and some dropping with it in that place, and not Bushes, but where they say they're going to build the hospital over there.
Oh, okay, yeah, California.
Come for there by Gospel Hall,
mm-hmm.
And I'm really thinking about these young people and them, especially the young girls. Sometimes you have 2 young girls in the road waiting for a bus, and that is a problem. They have to beg for a ride, and I haven't seen much police on the street patrolling at all in the night. I'm telling you, I was travel late, and I haven't seen that. Yesterday, I told them that I saw somebody with a jumper when I was going at home, and the person run down through the Cocoa and through the river. They put me on, they transfer me, and up to now, 1 police answer, and up to now, nobody ever answer and say anything. They just keep transferring me. So if I have to help, how I want to help when I can't get through the police? Some of them police only come and see him when crime over. And I mean, that's really scary. I know right now the police force weaker than before, and they have to do so much things, but come on, we have a prisoner outside, and that's not looking nice. We're only waiting for somebody to call us and tell us I see a prisoner. That's what people waiting for. That's what the police waiting for. The police there to protect and serve. I find they should be doing more work. I don't find they're doing much. To me, when time reach for fire, just give them fire. When they do good, I just say they're doing good. If to harass somebody for 2 tickets, you're going to see they're doing that. I don't understand, because I'm still trying to get over this street. Not one prisoner, not 2 but 3, and the same cell let go. And then we have a next one. What let go from Grenville? I don't understand that. And then you still have the commissioner saying that's above the pay grade. I don't understand that. And then the guy who was in his cell, you're supposed to be suspending him, you transfer him to another police station. I mean, you send him there now to go and let go more. I don't understand that. Anyhow, Sheldon, goodbye.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Okay.
440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. And I'm saying it as it is. Yeah. There is quite a bit of incompetence at play here in Grenada and obfuscation. You also saw the artwork for tonight's program. You saw me mention the word obfuscation. Yeah. Where they're trying to cloud and confuse the issues. But they are also trying to avoid having to speak on the issues as well. And we can't allow that to continue. You had 2 government ministers who were in the media this week. You're telling me that 2 government ministers, 2 people who are sitting in the cabinet of Grenada, one of them happens to be the Attorney General. Yes, Madam. Yeah, you, Madam Chloe, if we don't know is you who. That is who was doing it. Tell me a lie. Take me to court. Yeah? You, Miss Claudette, was the one pounding down the door in GIS. So tell me a lie. People inside doing interview, you go pounding down the door because you find it's your time to come in. You're in charge. My time to come in. Yeah, that kind of attitude. But with all of that, this individual was on a program there because that was the program right after she was the person on the program. So that individual was on a program there. They didn't use the opportunity to at least commiserate with the family and say to the family, well, we are sorry for what has happened. Yeah, we are sorry for what has happened. Our thoughts are with you. Yeah, we're thinking about you all, and so we are thinking of your parents that are missing, and so yeah, nothing, not a word. Like they ain't sad, like they happy. They feel like it's good advertisement for Grenada. They think that is good advertisement for Grenada. Yeah, not a word, not a strategy as this is the way that we're going to counteract what is taking place out there. Nothing. Up to now. And then they will call press conference, and then I'm telling you all, the PM, if he don't call a press conference tonight, let me see if they call it already right. He'll call a press conference to say going and discuss all of the stuff that come out of the Carriacou heads of government meeting, that Grenada is now going to be part of the ferry service. Yeah, they're going to come to announce that, but let me announce it for them. So Grenada is going to become part of the ferry service that is going to start in Guyana and come up to Trinidad, and then it's going to come to Grenada. And then from Grenada, it may go to St. Vincent and then over to Barbados and to St. Lucia. And so, yeah, so that Grenada is going to be part of that ferry service. Yeah? So they're going to come to announce that and one or two other things that Carriacou has sent out a note. Yeah, they have a conclusion in relation to the issue of crime. Yeah, and public safety. So the issue that, so I hope that they also explain to the Prime Minister of Grenada the importance of addressing the issue properly. Yeah, not saying that, oh, we know that was going on come, so it's not we fault, but addressing the issue properly so that there's some sort of leadership. Because right now, what we lack in Grenada, one of the things that we're lacking is leadership. That's what we're lacking in the government, that is. Other places we have it. But in the government, we are lacking leadership. So there's nobody leading on this issue. And you don't even have the competent people there. Like you would have Dr. Mitchell, who on his own would know that, hey, I have to do a national address this issue. There was one Sam that some guys started to get. Dr. Mitchell did a national address on the issue of crime and violence, public safety, and he did something on that. And then after that, you saw immediate actions. Some of them that had started before, you saw them amplified to address the situation. Please get back calm. Yeah? And it's the same situation that you have now. There are parts of Grenada right now that I'm going. And let me say it is in the constituency of Andy Williams. There's a certain part of that constituency that when you're walking around, is a set of one hand. It definitely says that there's a problem within that community that has to be addressed. And especially when most, not all, are young people. And you realize left hand gone or right hand gone. That sort of thing is taking place. You're not hearing any effective strategy of how to address that problem, how to arrest that problem. No, not just send police when somebody gets trapped to go and arrest, but to deal with the issue of what is causing people to get to that stage. Nothing. They say they have a National Security Council. Fellow Grenadians, and all of you who are listening from overseas, my good friends in Pennsylvania, I got your message. I got your message, my dear. Yeah. Pennsylvania, good night. Yeah, given Pennsylvania, they want tonight alone. Pennsylvania, tonight is yours. Good night to Pennsylvania listeners. Yeah. So you have a situation like this, and have you heard from the National Security Council? They have not. Who are the members of the National Security Council? You know they would not come onto a press conference to be able to tell you that. So they can't tell you who are the members of the National Security Council. So you don't know if people who are competent, who have a little feel of what's going on the ground, who have contacts to know certain things that are going on, they are not members of the National. And if you're doing a National Security Council, do you need to do it with just your cabinet members or just that sort of thing? If it's a National Security Council, I would think it would be more broad-based. You have ex-commissioners that are still around. You have Mr. James, you have Mr. Clarkson. You have these people that are still around. That if you're having a National Security Council, I would think that people like these are people that you would actually use to advise, because the ex-commissioner that you have as an advisor is a waste of time. But you have Mr. Clarkson and Mr. James there. Well, you lose Mr. Martin. But you have these others that are still there that can lend some intelligence to the discussion, that can lend some guidance and some experience to any discussion that a National Security Council could have. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to make them part of the council, but at least to advise, at least as sounding boards that you could send things to and get back information from. But not only that, are you listening to the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force? Let me repeat. Are you listening to the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force? The people who actually out on the street, the constables and corporals, the sergeants, well, some inspectors as be out there sometimes too, who are actually on the street on a daily basis, the ones that have to interact with the bus drivers, who have to interact with the vagrants and them in town when they're given trouble, who have to interact with them. Have you spoken to them? Have you gotten their viewpoint on things? Or are you just going to create strategy and hand it to them and say implement? Do you know what challenges they face on a daily basis out there, on the streets, on the beach, going around doing patrol, different things? Have you spoken to them? Do you understand what their concerns are? Do you understand what the shortfalls are? Have you given to them what they need to get? Yeah? But you ain't hearing nothing. They're just quiet. Nothing is like, if they bury their head deep enough in the sand, all of this gonna blow over. Bury your head deep enough in the sand and all of it gonna blow over. And not understanding that there are ripple effects that are going to continue for the longest time, and that when people type in the name Grenada in the news feed on Google or on Bing or any of those websites that you use to do your searches, what has happened in Grenada is coming to the top of your news feed. And they don't even have enough common sense to create enough positive content about Grenada to flood the internet to try and drown out some of it. You wouldn't be able to drown out all, especially on social media when you have pages that have how much million people and it's posted there. So these are very popular pages, and so on the algorithm of social media is going to push that to people. And they don't even have enough common sense to try and get positive stories there. Listen, not only does the Prime Minister at this stage need to fire the Minister of National Security, the advisor, but he needs to fire his communications team. Because they ought to know what I'm telling you tonight is necessary and has to be done. That one of the only way that you can combat negative news is with positive news, but also addressing the facts surrounding something and let people know what your intent is. So I listened today, I listened to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Royal Police Force. I listened to them today. Yeah? And they were very clear and they were very effective in how they communicated. And so I listened to them on the narrative. I've listened to them otherwise. They are always very clear in how they're communicating. You could tell they know what they're doing, how they're communicating with people and so on. So they're leaving a positive impression of themselves. Unlike what happened here on Monday, which left a negative impression of Grenada. I was listening to Simon Says. Yeah, I was listening to Simon. Those of you that have not listened to Simon Says, have not listened to Jenny Simon's program, you need to go and listen it after the program. Don't stop the program and go and listen to it. Listen it after this program or in the morning or whenever you can. Take the opportunity and listen to Simon Says. Yeah, as Jenny dealt with that issue. She dealt with those issues surrounding the press conference and so. And the worst thing about this is that there are people in all of these areas that there are shortfalls. There are people who are willing to help and are willing to help for free, inclusive of myself. Yeah, including myself. You have Nimrod Oliver, who is always willing to help. He's willing to help, but they wouldn't even come and ask a question. Yeah? Because they're afraid they go out to say that's how he was helping. They're willing to help. They're willing to help. You have people that are willing to help you all when it comes to your communication strategy and your public relations. There are people that are willing to help and they don't even want $1. They're willing to help. But instead of reaching out and trying to get help, you take a week, and enough cussing from here before you finally realize that you have to send out the picture of a murderer, any other country on earth. All who are responsible for just sending out that would have been fired. Eh? Let me say it clearly, with no apology. Any other country on earth, you take a week and how much days to send out? A week and 3 days at that time, yeah? A week and 3 days before you send out a release to say an escaped prisoner who has been accused, has been charged for capital murder, who disappear like magic. Yeah, you push aside officers and run and all kind of thing. That's another story for another time. But you just decide that you're putting out his photo. His photo wasn't important last week. So you know how many people had the possibility of seeing this individual between last week and this week? You know how many people he may have interacted with? He might have gone into a village shop and buy stuff. Children going to school might have seen him. Elderly people going to find if they're still on the seed list may have interacted with him. But you all only find it necessary to put out his photo now. And again, the Royal Grenada Police Force all have a problem when it comes to taking photographs of prisoners. Is there a problem with that? We know that there is a standard worldwide thing of the frontal shot. Then you have the left profile, right profile. But realize like all you do are them kind of pictures to put out. We ain't seen them pictures on them. Imagine if they catch somebody, and I'm not saying this is the right thing, but if they catch somebody, they accuse somebody, right? I know an instance of a young lady happened to be in a building that the police raid. There was marijuana in that building, a significant amount of marijuana, and the young lady was posted up on the Facebook page the same day. They take a picture and they put it up, but yet still a murderer escape and it take a week and 3 days. Enough people cussing before you all realize we have 21,000 people locked on to our Facebook page, and with something like that, even if 10,000 of them, even if it's 5,000 or 3,000 of them share it, you're going to quadruple the amount of people that have access to seeing that. But no, you all take a week and some to put it out because like you all apparently have to wait until the Prime Minister come back to give you all permission to put out picture of a wanted murderer. So I don't know if we're living in a dictatorship. I don't know if we're in North Korea, because that's the only place I could think that those kind of things happening. I don't know if we're in North Korea and it's a North Korean system that we live in. Because I don't know if everybody went, next thing everybody went and line up on the airport for when the Prime Minister come in yesterday again. You know, just go down and line up on the airport when the Prime Minister coming in. Does have to go, all ministers just have to go and line up, stand up in line and shake hand and hug and thing when he coming in and he walking in. So I don't know if it's that happening still. So when they come in last night or today, I don't know if they went and line up. You'll see it on GIS. Once nobody in, ponging down the door. We might see it on GIS. But you utilize, you have people in this country who are willing to help, but they're not. Listen, and at the same token, right? There are people in this country that are willing to help with a lot of these things. There are people in this country that are willing to help with a lot of things. But let me say something to the diaspora NDC supporters. I know for a fact many of you have been promised jobs by this NDC administration. Some of them have told you all they're going to bring you all back and give you a big job down here. And they will give you a big job. You could come back home. They have jobs waiting for you and so. Meanwhile, they will find people in Trinidad like Mr. Bartholomew. Yeah, Mr. Bartholomew is coming into Grenada to become the CEO of the Grenada Transportation Commission. I think he should be here by next week. So you have Mr. David Bartholomew is coming in. The new chief, what do you call it again? The CEO, right, of the Grenada Transportation Commission. I have a senior moment there. It's slipping me what CEO stand for again, right? Yeah. Chief Executive Officer, right, that's it. Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Transportation Commission. Right? Meanwhile, they find one way from Montserrat or some kind of thing. I think it's Montserrat or wherever they find one and they bring him. That's the one that in charge of lands. Grenadian lands is in the hands of a foreigner. Yeah, they bring up. You had people who was holding the position within the ministry. They overlooked these people and they went outside of Grenada and find people, but they didn't even go and find a Grenadian who is outside there. Yeah, they didn't go and say, well, we're going. Don't go say it's Carriacou, eh? But just remember, there are many Grenadians out there in the diaspora that have the ability to do these jobs and are willing to come back and do it. But for some reason, they're finding people all different places to come in and do these jobs. So that is why now we hear people complaining that who harassing them, who going around and harass them when they have the business place, the food place and the bakery and so on, who shutting them down, and the person don't care because the person is not a Grenadian, so they just come in and they acting like a bulldozer and they ain't even giving them time to. That's the kind of things that you're hearing out there. Yeah? That's the kind of attitudes that you're hearing out there. But meanwhile, your Prime Minister is still missing in action. I see a missing poster for him the other day. Your Prime Minister is still missing in action. Up to now, you can't see him. Up to now, you can't hear him. I see Prime Ministers in other countries. Mia Motley, sometimes she comes in and she ain't even leaving the airport, you know. They're doing the press conference right there, or the next day she making sure she do a press conference. Dr. Keith Rowley down in Trinidad, same thing. Sometimes he not even leaving the airport. They're saying at the diplomatic lounge at the Carriacou International Airport. And they go and they do the press conference right there. We come back, this is what we achieve. Right? The vessel will now be traveling to Grenada as well. Grenada is added on, but there's a story behind that. Grenada as well. That we looked at the issue of crime and violence. And we looked at it as a public health issue as well. But you're not hearing anything. So our Prime Minister come back. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he liming or some kind of thing. Maybe he go to sew a new sash and outfit and so to go out with. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Grenadians need to hear what is the strategy, what is the plan that there is to go forward. What happened on Monday, what we saw on Monday does not imbibe us with quite a bit of confidence in relation to the leadership of the Royal Grenada Police Force at this time. It doesn't give us a lot of confidence. And the little bit of confidence we may have had, it take it out. Yeah? It take it out. So we're saying to you all, that you need to communicate. You need to speak with the Grenadian people. We know you all go come to the press conference and then you go say that, oh, some people saying we should speak and we would. No. You have to talk to the people. Right? I also looked, folks, and again, the phone lines are open, 440-7377. You can call us on WhatsApp on that number as well. Yeah, the WhatsApp cooking like what these days, man. So you can call us on the WhatsApp. You can call us directly, 440-7377. I looked at the press conference from the Ministry of Health and so on, and I'm trying to wonder why they really had the press conference in the first place, because the vast majority of information that I heard was information that was already put out last year when the last Minister of Health was trying to save himself. Because he wanted to remain in the Ministry of Health, eh? Yeah, remember, he wanted to remain in the Ministry of Health. I think he's supposed to be working on a degree in healthcare or some kind of thing like that. Yeah, so he wanted to remain in the Ministry of Health. But while he wanted to remain in the Ministry of Health, he brought out everybody and they had the press conference and they talk. Most of that information was just repeated yesterday. I don't understand what they really had that for. We have a call online. Good evening.
Hey, good night, Sheldon. How are you doing?
Always good, brother.
Yeah, Sheldon, I have noticed something on GIS tonight with the PM. I've been noticing lately that they are doing videos with the PM going on villages, right? Mm-hmm. But these videos were filmed like before, because he didn't come up there and film the videos today for surety, right? And I realized that for a while they've been doing that. They've been backdating videos from way back when, right? Mm-hmm. And secondly, Sheldon, you keep hearing about the diaspora and they want people to come and register for it from the diaspora. I would like the diaspora people to know, right? When they come in, learn about general councils, learn about conventions, and learn what you have to do to be involved in the process of elections in Grenada. Because election alone is not about just coming and vote. You have to be in your village group. You know, you have to choose who you want in your village to come and be a delegate and such like that. So it's not only about elections day and come and vote election day. You have to become a member of the party, all these things in them. So you see, they're telling them when they come for funerals, weddings, get ready to start. But they didn't tell you the rest. There's the rest. You have to come and, go in your group, do your work, become your committee leader, right? And lastly, Sheldon, if it's one thing I've learned from looking at news, dictators never ever lose elections. You never lose. They will always stay in power. The mere fact that we have a prime minister now is because there was a prime minister before and there were others, democratically so, besides one, elected. And if there was one for the last 10 years, trust me, he would have still been in power. So we still have a democratic process, and let us abide by it. Have a good afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. I agree with you, my good friend. The press conference was nothing more than an attempt at a distraction. They know the distracting with that. It was an attempt at a distraction. Yeah, and I've seen the video. Somebody sent the video to me a while ago. I've seen the video of today's altercation. I have my own views in relation to it, but I'll leave that alone for now. There's something else that's happening that are holding fire on certain issues right now. Yeah, are holding fire on certain issues. But I would say that the press conference was simply a distraction. There was nothing to say. Nothing to say there. Even when you asked about, Linda Straker asked the question about how many people, if anybody has died recently due to COVID-19, and then they said they don't have the information. Apparently they sent it to, I think there were two people that died with COVID-19, I think for this month. One person died with dengue last year, and they had to give some figures and so on so that she would be able to do her story. And so I haven't read the story yet. I saw just the headline somewhere. But to know that they had this press conference, and even if you're going to a press conference like that, I would think, me personally, the way I would think that a question like that would come up and make sure that I go to that press conference with that information. So I don't have to call you afterwards and imagine you ask the minister, what is the status of the ambassador that they have? Because remember, there's an ambassador who I believe was the uncle of the last Minister of Health. I think it's the uncle of the last Minister of Health. Somebody help me out here. I think he was the uncle of the last Minister of Health, an ambassador with specific responsibility for healthcare, going out there and getting different opportunities for Grenada healthcare-wise and so on. And the minister was asked, what is the status of the individual? And so on. Let me see if I have that one. Trying to figure out which one it is. I think this may be it. I wonder if this one is it. This one may be it. So let me see if I have the correct one.
Into this administration. A few months ago, we heard of and we were informed about the appointment of a global health ambassador. Can you tell us if Mr. Lane continues to be the global health ambassador for Grenada? What his duty really entails, and has the cabinet appointed any other person or persons to be health ambassadors for Grenada? And if yes, who are these people?
Right, so I do not have an answer to that question simply because I have not gotten around to that aspect of the work yet, as I mentioned earlier before, and I still continue to so do. I've been reading quite a lot, meeting with a number of agencies, bodies, management persons.
Just remember, folks, this is an individual who was sitting in cabinet where the decision was made for this individual to be hired as the global health ambassador. He was sitting in cabinet. I don't know, maybe he missed that cabinet meeting, but he would still get the briefs in relation to what took place in cabinet. That decision, at least under normal circumstances in normal democratic processes on the island of Grenada, would be one that would pass through at some level through the cabinet of Grenada. So he ought to know who is the ambassador. He ought to know what are the terms and conditions, in other words, what the ambassador is supposed to be doing. So he's telling us now that the Minister of Health, he's telling us that the Minister of Health, who is supposed to be the person directly working with the ambassador on healthcare, doesn't know what the ambassador is doing. And don't use the excuse that you're just there for a couple of weeks and thing. Total nonsense. Stop it. Stop it.
And so on and so on. The next phase of work really is to start visiting government assets throughout the state of Grenada. I have not gotten around to the ambassadorial side of things, although it will speak to the partnership. So I do not know the extent of the work that he will undertake or is undertaking at this point, because I have not gotten around to that yet. I don't know if PS has anything. She doesn't. Well, both of us are basically strategizing, as it were. We are basically strategizing how we deal with the many challenges.
So is he basically telling us that before he came, there was no strategy how to deal with healthcare? Because I would think that if your administration comes in, you're supposed to say you're going to fix healthcare, that there was a pre-existing plan of we're going to do A, B, C, major points. We're going to do A, B, C, D, E. These are the main pillars that we're going to build healthcare on in Grenada. Then, while the last minister was there for the 17 or 18 months or whatever he spent there as Minister of Health, that there was a strategy in place. Now this minister is telling me that they now put in a strategy in place. Hey, only take that same failure from that ministry and send him in youth now. Okay.
That we are presently confronted with. So you would appreciate our focus is to treat with the most urgent and most important things, the things that matter most to the average Grenadian, and that's exactly where our minds are at the moment. And that does not say.
So while he's saying that, I wonder if they stop paying the ambassador, because he basically saying we're focusing on other things, we can't be bothered with what that man doing. So he, in other words, is not getting any directive from this person who happens to be the line minister directly in line with what he is supposed to be doing. So it seems as though the right hand don't know what the left hand doing, and the toe going about your own business. But anyhow, let me hear the rest of the little piece there.
That relationship and connection isn't important, but there are things that are more important and most urgent at this time, and that's where our focus is.
So he basically just admitting that the last minister didn't do anything, innit? Yeah, the last minister. Well, we know that, you know. He didn't have to tell us that. Yeah, he didn't have to explain that one to us. Like, we know the last minister didn't do anything. Yeah, except damage the healthcare system. Yeah? Except take the opportunity to try and union busting tactics. Yeah? The new National Party, they used to accuse, the unions used to accuse the NNP of all kind of thing. Who come and busting unions now? It's the NDC administration that come and union busting now. So you have the leadership of the Public Workers Union just hearing, by the way, they didn't even have the decency to call them and say, well, we are going to announce this for your workers, or we're going to do this for your workers. They're just announcing it, by the way. They're hearing it the same way everybody else hear it on the news. That nurses getting a $500 extra. On the news, that doctor's supposed to be getting $1,000 extra. I don't think they get it. I don't know if they get it yesterday or today or so they finally get it. I hope so. Yeah? But that was not through union negotiations. Because what this government is doing, and you have some union leaders who are dunce, like the one in charge of the GUT, strictly dunce. Just naturally wicked to himself with his stupidity. Because he's basically an apologist for the government. Everything is the government, we're looking for this, and teachers are saying that, but we know the government is good and the government is working with us. Yes, what they're doing is they're making sure that they neuter, that's what I said, they neuter the teachers union. They're making sure that they break you down to nothing. The same way that they're doing it to the Public Workers Union. And if the Public Workers Union don't want to see it, and the Grenada Union of Teachers don't want to see it, and all the other unions who might have one or two people working in the government system don't want to see it, that this government is anti-union. Yeah, they don't negotiate and get a little say nice things about them, but look at what they're doing on the back end. They're trying to destroy unions because they don't want to be having to face any strike and that kind of thing, you know. They want nothing to block them. So they're making sure that they destroy the unions. And some of you union leaders, some, not all, some of you union leaders, you are aiding and abetting in destroying the unions. Every time the one in charge of the GUT go in front of our camera is, well, we get this and we get that, and how much teachers being regularized. Why ain't talk about the 400 plus that was regularized under the new National Party when LL was the president of the Teachers Union? You're trying to give the impression that it's only now as this administration come in that they're regularizing teachers. Talk about the 400 plus that was regularized when LL was the president of the Teachers Union. Give the person who was there before you the credit for the work that they did. And the government at the time for doing it, because you're giving this government credit, give the last government the credit for what they did as well. Resolving these long-standing issues of people that had to basically come and get a contract every September, that had to get a contract. But they didn't complete the process, and now this government is continuing to do what the last government did. But you ain't making that point. You ain't making that point. That's why it's called it Judas Jude. Because it's that Judas to your own union and trade unionism. He's only there to the government. And the Deacon Mitchell administration. That's why he does talk. The Deacon Mitchell administration is working for teachers. Yeah? Every minute. But to each their own, no? To each their own. But what I'm saying here now, just remember it. The government will change. At the next election, it will change. And those of you who refuse to stand up on behalf of the workers now, refuse to stand up on behalf of the people in this country who need assistance, the people who refuse to stand up on the issues, just remember, the same way you sit down now, continue to sit down, Papa? Right, we have a caller on the line. Good evening.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
Good night, ma'am.
And good night to the Grenadian people who is listening, home and abroad. Patty and Matthew, in Canada, special good night to you. Sheila and Darlington Chase, in Denver, Colorado, good night to you all. and the rest of my family in Brooklyn, New York, good night. And my son in South Carolina and my son in England, good night. Sheldon Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm speaking to the Grenadian people tonight. I want all you to listen to me and carefully. Deacon Mitchell don't care about us in this country. And I don't care about him. And they will continue doing the wrong things. They continue. We could speak from now till as what people say. These people are bothering with we. I personally, I just have to take care of me right now. Because you know something? We as Grenadians are hypocrite. We're very hypocrite. Things hurting you and you will not speak. Most of them say them is enmity. And things are affecting you in your village and your job. They send your family home. Nobody saying nothing. Nobody. So I don't like what Deacon doing. Mr. Deacon Mitchell will come and apologize to nobody. Mark me word. He don't come and apologize to Grenadian. That the man planning his wedding, you know. He's sorry now you? He planning his wedding. He don't apologize to nobody. He don't reporting nothing to us with what's going on wherever he is. He don't have us to study. So I don't have he to study. And I don't have none of ministers. I don't live in the land. I trust Almighty God to deliver me and to deliver Grenada. Watch on all you will see. Watch on all you will see. We could talk, we could say what we want. They don't play us no mind. You talk until they put out the moral picture. I live in fear in the house. They take a knife or a cutlass or whatever, or a hammer, and bust me window. And they come inside me house. We never bring that lunch and meat and take that lunch and meat. People is hungry. There are times when I have things, I will call the people in the village, give them some rice. I just share what I have. And they come, they drinking me coconut water and milk coconut tree. They come in the house. And that never, God hear me, I never miss nothing in the house under any time. The other time I forget me to open. I come back and meet it close. I never miss nothing. But that is a sign. That is a sign to break me the window and come inside, take the lunch and meat and them and go. People hungry. Nobody saying nothing. I said ungrateful people. One woman up there under the NLP government over the years. Mother get house, brother get house, nephew get house. I live in Bushaju. So I know what I'm talking about. Everybody get the supply. Everybody get toilets. Who I didn't want, they just didn't want. And they stay on a bus and Chambers bus and cussing me and cussing Kitty Shell. He didn't do nothing. Sheldon, I don't sorry. Sheldon, I see in trouble right now, but I don't sorry for these people. I, Camille Kiza Scott, I don't sorry for what's going on. You have to remember the little Moses, Dr. Mitchell, he held Grenadians, and the same honey seed, taking it now. Leslie used to leave groceries. He used to leave groceries there. They used to send people to come and tell us in the village, go and collect $200 worth of groceries. Rice, sugar, meat, chicken, flour. The same people that he used to sell and get. He take me and here they say, he don't do nothing to show you. Don't sorry for them. Lacquer don't leave in message by Leslie. Lacquer don't leave in nothing by Mr. Sandy. He don't leave in no money in no liquor shop on the side of the road to give nobody nothing. They said Kit Michelle will do nothing. 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 They're ungrateful and sorry. And they won't see whatever Deacon Mitchell do, he right. Leave them. Ungratefulness is a sin. So we praying for it. Peter go play for Paul and Paul go play for all. Good night, Grenada.
Night,
Good
Kiabe.
night. I don't want to be ungrateful. I don't want to be ungrateful. I know what he do for me, and I will always thank him and thank God. All the time. That's why I wear me handband. I go anywhere, I wear me handband. Sheldon, good night.
Good night, Kiabe. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yes, it is the number for it. Wonder what else it had in the Ministry of Health thing there. Let me see if I find something else with this today. Let me see.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts.
Wait, they will be given what? No, Minister, I think you made a mistake. No, can't be contracts again. Them.
Will be given contracts, at least, to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system. Those who can be regularized as per available position as per PSC rules, that's going to happen. But the others would have to be given contracts until such time. The staff were there. They will be given contracts.
But alien contracts supposed to be illegal? Yeah, contracts supposed to be illegal. We supposed to see the end of contract work and thing. Contracts supposed to be illegal. So it can't be that we... Yeah, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe we did not hear properly.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts, at least, to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system. Those who can be regularized as per available position as per PSC rules.
It had no such thing as available positions and PSC rules. They said that to have people on contract was wrong, and they went as far as to say it's illegal. They went so far on the campaign trail to say it is wrong and it is illegal. Yeah? And that all workers would be made... In fact, let me see if we could hear.
An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office.
I ain't find is that we hear in here. I ain't find is that we hear in here. Let we hear here.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts.
No, you can't be getting contracts because from what we hear here, let me hear.
Employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service in Grenada.
You hear that, sir? If you didn't hear that, somebody find the minister number, let we send that to him because I don't find like the minister here. And it seems as though it's more than one cabinet that it have here in Grenada because you're not hearing the same message across them. Minister, let me hear you one more time.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts, at least, to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system.
No, but you can't do that. You can't do that because let me hear something else here. Let me see.
Mitchell promises that an NDC government will move Grenadians out of poverty as he referenced a World Bank report which states that 35% of the population is poor.
That was before the pandemic hit. Now that the pandemic has hit, I don't need the World Bank to tell me that the figure has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful.
It is what? No, that is not the Prime Minister that talking there, man. That had to be AI. That can't be Mr. Deacon Mitchell was talking there.
I don't need the World Bank to tell me that the figure has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law.
The man said they're breaking the law, you know. The man said they're breaking the law, so it can't. Mr. Telesford, no. Something definitely has to be wrong.
Staff were there. They will be given contracts, at least, to
But no, Mr. Telesford, no, let me close your mouth. Hold on.
have an
Nah, your mouth ain't closed still. Let me close it.
instrument of appointment.
That's good enough, right? Yeah, we don't want to see your tongue. Right. So, contract work is illegal according to your government, according to your politically. Your boss go fire you, know, mister. Your boss go fire you. You can't be putting people on contract. No, Mr. Don't move your face. Yeah, we see enough of your face. Right, yeah. Not that mine pretty, you know. You don't understand, right? But anyhow, contract work supposed to be illegal. At least so we have been told. Yeah? There is no need for a parallel public service. So Mr. Telesford telling us there now. That is what you call the press conference for, because you know I go talk about that, and then you think we go forget the fact that all you gone on mute. All you have nothing to say in relation to the crime situation that has been developing and that is still bubbling under. And let me say it here, that while you all have the ones that were involved in whatever take place on Friday, they have friends, eh? All right. All I'm saying is they have friends. That's all I had to say on that one. They have friends. Right? They have friends. So, we need to hear. There needs to be reassurance to the general public in relation to the issues that are at hand. But if all you come and only talk about this thing, I must talk about it because the man said again contract. Let me hear. Yeah, contract.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts.
No, well, they will be given contracts, but as we know, according to what the Prime Minister has said, let me hear what the Prime Minister
Figure
said.
has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government...
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. Figure has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law, then so be it.
Well, yeah, so who is working with the people within the healthcare sector? Because last week we did speak to the fact that they were trying to get some nursing assistants, that is, to sign some backdated contracts. So they wanted them to sign some contracts that were backdated to the year 2022. But remember, the Prime Minister said these contracts are illegal. Yeah, they are unlawful. They are illegal. And if it takes a High Court judgment, then so be it. Yeah? But yet still we hearing that they getting contracts. Yeah, contracts, yeah? Yeah, we still hearing contracts.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts, at least, to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system.
Yeah, one question that I'd like somebody to ask Mr. Telesford at that function was, what is the status? Because we can't just lose track of everything because we're talking about one issue for the last few days, you know. What is the status of the houses? He was the Minister of Housing. This was the failure. That was the Minister of Housing. We are about to enter the month of March in just a couple hours. We are entering the month of March. In other words, we into nearing the end of the first quarter of 2024 already, you know. Are you still hearing the fireworks bursting on New Year's Day? No, serious. New Year's Day is a long time ago. Yeah? We are about to enter. Tomorrow, we enter the third month of this year. The third month. And as such, what is the status of the houses? What is the status with the Housing Authority of Grenada and the people who have been okayed to be in receipt of these houses? Because they still stand empty in Carriacou. They still stand empty in Beaujeu, St. George's. They still stand empty in Corinth and St. David, and those in St. Patrick, with border between St. Patrick and St. They are empty as well. And there are people that need it. And there are people that deserve it. But yet still they are empty due to the nonsense, due to the idiotic stuff that this individual did. That was the Minister of Housing. But you see, they just wanted to keep it on health-related matters, and so they was afraid other issues come up. They were afraid. Yeah? You could see that they were a bit nervous. Right? They were a bit nervous that any other issue came up there. So they wanted to keep it on that issue. Keep it on that issue, yeah? Keep it on the issue of the healthcare. And so they just basically come and repeat everything that was said. Because remember, when the Minister of Health went to Parliament, when he was talking about who is mad black woman and all kind of thing, and he lose his temper. Yeah, remember the Minister of Health, the same person who lose their temper, who didn't know how to behave, they take him and they make him the Minister of Youth now. The same person that had to stop a Parliament sitting because like he went off. He just lost it. And that to stop the Parliament sitting and bring him to cool off. And bring him back. They take he and they put him in charge of youth now. Yeah? The same person who don't know how to control their own temper. They take them and they put them in charge of the youth. The youth. Sorry, not the youth. The youth. They take them and they put them in charge there. Yeah? And that is what is taking place now. So what is the situation with the houses? I think we have a new Minister of Housing. What's she going to say? That she's now going through the process of creating a strategy of, oh, no, you all had that already. It failed. What is the status of the houses? I'm asking the questions, you know. So if the media want to ask the questions when they get the opportunities, up to them. Other than that, we asking the questions. And when you meet them in the supermarkets, you meet them in the streets, anywhere you meet them, ask them that question. Not the media, you know, talking about the ministers. Ask them, what is the status with the houses? Why are people not able to yet occupy those houses? Why are those houses that was given by the Chinese for the people of Grenada, why are those houses being treated in that manner? Why is that gift that was given to Grenada being treated in that manner? Why are they sitting there empty? Ask them that question. Ask them about it. Where are the 500 houses a year? Well, we're going into just now we're going to complete year 2. In a few months, we're going to complete year 2. And then, because it's 20 months now, yes, so in 4 months' time, you're going to complete year 2. So, what is the status of the 500 houses a year that we're supposed to be built with what? Swimming pool and all kind of thing? Next thing they tell you was getting racetrack outside and thing too, you know. What is the status with that? We know they have Project 500, but as I say, we're going to talk about Project 500 is a program for itself. Yeah? Just remember I said Project 500 is a program for itself. That's supposed to alert you all as to what's going on there. That Project 500. Yeah? But what is the status? What is taking place? The Housing Authority of Grenada is not saying anything. The Ministry of Housing isn't saying anything. And forget trying to find the Prime Minister and so on, because they want to limit what is being asked in press conferences and press engagements so that you cannot ask these questions about these things. And then when you ask, they try to obfuscate the issue by trying to give a long litany of, oh, the NNP had did this and the NNP had did that and the NNP had did the other and all sort of thing. And by the time they finish with that, the journalist done zone out already and somebody else get a chance to ask the question and that question lost. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Some folks have asked me as well, what has been taking place with the oil spill? So far, it has not gone onto land in Grenada. Yes, it has been, and it continues to be in Grenadian waters. It has breached land in Aruba. I believe it has gone across to Aruba and it's damaged some places there in Aruba. So it has gone to the west, but it has not gone further north, as in to get to Grenadian beaches and so on, at least so far. And there has been cleanup efforts taking place and so on. So let's pray that continue with that situation, that the oil spill doesn't come further up the road. All right, folks, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. 440-7377. No, we ain't supposed to be talking no contract work, you know. We're not supposed to be talking that.
Employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for...
And you hear them shouting in the back, yeah! Yeah! They're shouting and thing in the background, and they hear it from the top again. You hear them shouting in the background, yeah!
Employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service in Grenada. All workers will be given permanent status. This will allow these workers to enjoy the same benefits that a current public servant now enjoy. We will also ensure that all workers benefit from pension and gratuity once and for all.
Yeah, so no, we want to know, you know. We want to know what is taking place with these different things. Because I think somebody else did speak about, let me see if it's there. Yeah, I think somebody else did speak about the issue of giving contracts and so as well. Let me see. Let me see. That is, I'm trying to find it. Right, I think this is it here. So let me see if I can bring this, because I think it's have another one talking about contract work, but contract work supposed to be illegal, so everybody getting a blind, you know, contract work right through, left, right, and center, ain't it? Yeah.
A couple of days ago, we saw a social media posting. Of course, this new development relates to the previous announced increase in salaries for Imani trainees.
Right.
You being the former minister of sport, in charge of the Imani and everything else, right, if I could put it in that way.
Yes, yes.
Give me some clarification on what took place and what happened, if you could.
So,
I had the opposition yesterday who gave their understanding of it, their version of it. Let's hear from your part.
So I listened partly to the opposition's version of it. That's incorrect. Clearly, what is at stake here is simply this: the Imani trainees who were prior received $700 was going to be brought up to $1,200. Right. So what was to happen? Those who were
and folks, I'm playing this for a specific reason, because there's a situation now that and let me just pull and speak about it before I continue the clip. There's a situation now where many trainees, instead of receiving, now remember they said first of all they said that they are giving a stipend, a 500 increase to the stipend to Imani trainees. That was a broad statement. So whether you work in the public sector or you work in the private sector, according to what was said by the Prime Minister, you should be receiving an increase. Let me take this call and then we'll come back to that. We have a call online. Good night.
Hi, good night, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. How are you doing?
From Trinidad again.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, go right ahead.
I'm a habitual tuner, so I've been looking on for quite a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Point in question. I have a suggestion. I hope that the broader Eastern Caribbean is listening. I really was thinking about this a long while ago. This just way out of the box. We seem to have a very good law enforcement agencies across the Caribbean. But we have a problem where, like, crime back home, I mean, where law enforcement officers, their families and their homes are targeted together with loved ones. And since that the world has become so virtual, COVID, I want to suggest that the listening audience and the viewing audience, who that the powers that may be, we use the officers across Carriacou. It's easy. We just precept them, bring them across, especially in homicides. Bring them across, do the investigations, do the charges, go back home, and the case can be done virtually. And Trinidad now, our matters just go, we have no preliminary inquiry again. We go to High Court, set dates, once the evidence is there, and there's a trial. And we need to amend the laws to put in a substitute complainant just in case something happens with the first complainant. Think about the idea I have there. Crime in Grenada, crime in Jamaica, which is spiraling just like Trinidad, Bahamas coming down the islands. And we need to interchange the officers. Them come in, and like how we saw Scotland Yard long ago, do their thing, go back home and have the matters done virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you all may think about it, but it's just a suggestion I had in my mind.
Of course. All right. Thank you so. Yes, I understand, my friend. You're calling for a more regional approach to dealing with these issues, instead of it, because you have very competent officers here in Grenada. The rate of solving crime here in Grenada is extremely high in solving different crimes, and so as compared to Trinidad, which you all probably down in the 40-something% or somewhere around there, when Grenada is in the 90% range.
Yeah, so, our solvency detection rate is about probably 17 or 18%.
17, you say, you know?
Yeah, I'm telling you, brother.
I mean, the majority of crime in Trinidad goes unsolved.
Correct.
My goodness.
Correct.
Oh boy.
And one thing St. Lucia did is that St. Lucia Antigua, when they banned that guy from coming to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call him name, you know that.
I'm afraid calling K-Man 6 name. Me afraid them.
Yeah, no, I don't want to call him name. Yeah.
I go call him name.
Trinidad, the place too small.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We have to go across the line, and that type of music we don't strive for.
Mm-hmm.
Because crime in itself starts at the home, and let me let you know that. We nurture our children, and when parents stop parenting, it becomes a national problem, social problem. It starts in the village, it starts in the outer, broader community, and then it goes nationally. So that one child goes spirally out of control. And take if you have 10 children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Of course, yeah.
We, as a Carriacou, remember we are island developing nation, sir? And we have to we could nip this thing in the bud in 6 months' time if we really want to do it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't approve of politicians using people's and the citizens' lives as statistics and not human beings. That couple in Grenada that got hacked and oh God, that was so sorrowful. It made all the international news. Al Jazeera, NBC, CBS, CNN, NBC, everything across the world. Now, the family can't find the bodies to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
And it's a very un-Grenadian thing, which is why it is so hurtful to the vast majority. It doesn't seem to be hurtful to the government, but at least to the vast majority of Grenadians, it is hurtful to us because we are not that type of people. Anybody that visits here will tell you, if a person who is obviously a tourist or a yachty or whatever is walking in any particular area and somebody starts to interfere with them, other people in that area will get involved and say, leave the people alone, and so on, and get involved with it. A Grenadian is
more... And that is all supposed to be. But, like yesterday in Trinidad on Charlotte Street, a cruise ship docked, and a couple, probably they are retirees, and they were walking along Charlotte Street, and one stupid little punk, you gotta call it imps, because you're part Trinidad.
I know it's an imps, yeah.
You know, this guy tried to rob the lady and he injured the lady and that kind of thing, and the people were so shocked. They were so shocked, come off a cruise ship to get attacked by, but they arrested him and they threw him in the cell.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it doesn't augur well because, listen, how much are we going to do to prevent this kind of thing from happening? Because these little fellas who drop out of school don't want to do anything productive. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
When corporal punishment, I might be sounding long on your program, when corporal punishment was taken out of schools in Trinidad, we ended up with a big problem. And then to add on to that, most schools back in the day had a school prayer in the morning time. And they say because of discrimination, you can't have a prayer where you have Christians and Muslims and Hindu, and you're doing, let's say, a Muslim school only practicing Islam while the Hindu students are there. So there's this crap praying in the morning time. When children do not have that sense of God or supernatural or that super being in omnipresent at all times, we have a problem. Once you have a spiritual form in you, you'll realize that there's light, there's an inspiration to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that guidance from up above. If it's not there, you have nothing to be afraid of. You don't scare.
My friend.
Those are my thoughts, brother. So have a good night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my friend. And you enjoy the rest of your night tonight. And hope to see you in Grenada soon. All right. He's good. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. And I'll come back to some of what that caller said in a little while. But just before that, when it comes to the Imani, they were promised the 500 across the board. Then, when they're just about ready to make the first payment, you heard that it's only going to go to those within the public service. In other words, if you're an Imani trainee and you're working in the Ministry of Agriculture, you get it. Ministry of Tourism, you get it. Ministry of Health, you get it. But if you're an Imani trainee, you're still receiving part of your stipend from the government of Grenada, but you are attached to Huggins, or you're attached to Hubbard's, or you're attached to a credit union or wherever. You are not going to receive that increase. The increase are only for the others. Even if with the increase it would bring you up to minimum wage. So they have placed the onus on the private businesses to either A, get rid of the Imani trainee, or B, increase their stipend to bring them up to the minimum wage. That is what has been done. Now, the 500 was applied to those within the public service across the board in most instances. Some don't get the impression everybody they get. Across the board, they were given 500. In other words, you were working for 700, they get 500. 900, they get 500. 1,000, you still get 500. They said that was wrong and that the intention was to bring everybody up to $1,200. So no matter what rate you were at before, you're supposed to be getting 1,200, so 6 and 6. Right. There are many trainees who, even though that has been done, are now receiving less money than they were receiving before the $500 was added. Tell me how that makes sense. So you have trainees who, for instance, may have been getting, let's say they were getting $500. Before this whole $500 added thing was put in, that they were getting $500 a fortnight. Right? And now, instead of getting the $500, they're getting like $450. When they're supposed to be actually having money added to bring them up to the $1,200, they have actually had money removed. So I've been getting messages from many trainees. I saw a Imani trainee earlier today that after the takeout, without the takeout and so on from that Imani's stipend, going home with $95 today. You know. Let me repeat, that trainee is going home with $95. Not $100, you know. $95 is what they're going home with. Yeah? So I don't know if where the error is occurring, where the problem is, but there is a problem when it comes to the stipend of the Imani trainees. Yeah, there's a problem. Because if you're bringing them up to $1,200, there's no way that the salary should be heading in the downward direction. Yes, you made a mistake, you said, and you paid them too much. So some were supposed to get 300, they get 5. Some were supposed to get 200, they get 5. You want to bring everybody to just the 12, that's understandable, okay? It is wrong because you promised them 500, so you lie to them, but it is understandable, right? But now you're seeing some of them, instead of getting what they're supposed to, everybody across the board within the public sector who are working should really be getting 6 a fortnight, minus, of course, your NIS and so, right? So that has to be removed. But they should be getting 6 on a fortnight. That is not the case. Some of them are getting much less than that, and it's not because they're paying courts or they're paying here or they're paying there. All you had to check while you're doing. All right. Yeah, and then they go come and say we lie. Yeah? And so on. And all they ain't giving pay slip too, so don't worry.
Hi, higher than the 700 were not specifically going to receive that, but regularization of the Imanis, they were going to be regularized into their position. So, for example, some of the Imani trainees were actually performing specialized duties, which in some instances they may not have been totally qualified for, but or was on the way. That's why they were getting a higher stipend. Now, the fundamental issue is that the increase will only target those young people who are receiving the $700. The word, and this was not a release, this was a letter sent to, I assume, to the individual trainees.
Okay.
And they took it and posted it, etc. But sometimes we have to sit down and comprehend what is being said. What was clear?
We can't comprehend the incomprehensible because all you're talking nonsense. But anyway.
In the letter written by the the PS, Permanent Secretary, she clearly stated that there was an error and they gave everybody across the board. So if you got over $700, you got the $500 increase too. But it was not supposed to be applied to you. We would not take back the monies, but going forward, the trainees who receive $700 will be the beneficiaries of the increased $500.
Okay.
It's simple as that.
All right.
Yeah. But that is only a one-off issue. This is why a release didn't go out, because he didn't want to confuse public and so on. So it was leaked in terms of a letter and so a normal practice in this day of social media. You know, you don't have any problem.
Something is going to get out.
Yeah, it's going to get out. But the issue is here that the Imani trainees now, for the process of regularization, is going to be corrected, because the Imani program was utilizing trainees, as it claimed, over the stipulated training period to be actually performing duties that they were not being compensated for. And so this increase is expected to fix that problem, the first problem. The second problem, which is this long-term training that seemed to never end. That is what we want to now take the young people of the training program and incorporate them into the normal system. In this instance, it will have to be through a contract. So that is
it. Wait, no. It can't be through a contract. No, Ron. You make a mistake.
Normal system. In this instance, it will have to be through a contract. So that is the second phase.
No. All you know, and it can't be a contract. No, because we know that
employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service in Grenada. All workers will be given permanent status. This will allow these workers to enjoy the same benefits that a current public servant now enjoy. We will also ensure that...
No, so that Ron can be correct, because we keep hearing about this contracting from these guys, but as far as we know, that ain't supposed to be happening.
The first problem. The second problem, which is this long-term training that seemed to never end. That is what we want to now take the young people of the training program and incorporate them into the normal system. In this instance, it will have to be through a contract. So that
no, it can't be through contract. Come on, man. It can't be through contract.
Then so be it.
Prime Minister Dr. Track workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law.
By breaking the law, so they want to break the law and go and put them money on contract and take, hey, what do these people at them? Folks, 440-7377, that's 440-7377, that's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, this training gone from what? 476 down to 415. Yeah, so they've gone from 476 down to 415. Well, maybe the powers that be could explain it somehow. Yeah, the powers that be, or maybe they are to be or not to be. Whether this fear, yeah, anyway. Can't remember Shakespeare. 440, I get licks if I was in Shakespeare mass. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. And folks, don't forget to remember to make your donations, yeah, to our good friend Turkey at Nexa Credit Union, account number 211093. Yeah, please do not forget to remember, right? Try not to forget to remember to check Nexa Credit Union, account number, take out your pens, get your piece of paper, and make sure you take a note of it. Account number 211093. Again, Nexa Credit Union, not Ariza, not Grenville Credit Union, Nexa Credit Union, right? Account number 211093 in the name of Wayne Noel, right? We always call him Turkey. Nice? Right. So 4407377, no, that's the number to call, not the account number. 4407377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. And while I'm here as well, let me remind you all, because I tend to think that a lot of us taking this thing as a joke and not taking this thing as serious business. Right? And let me see if I could just get this caller in. I'll come back to the point. Let me just mark the point down. Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm quite fine. How are you doing, bro? How are you doing?
I can barely hear you for some reason or the other.
You will hear me a lot better when I talk here, but you go right ahead.
Yeah, your volume is fluctuating up and down from my end.
Don't worry. Some of our listeners have sorted that issue out for me, and very soon you will be hearing it much clearer. Yeah? So go right ahead, though.
You'll hear pretty clearly on your end.
Yeah, you'll hear a clicker, but we're not hanging up on you.
All right. It's been a little while since I've called in. I'm always tuned in, listening to the programs. But you made some you played some clippings there that I think is very, very important, especially for the young people of the nation, that they need to pay attention to. Now, our current government seem to speak one set of things and make a lot of promises that we all desire and we all will want for our young people and for the citizens of the nation. Of course, once anything brings benefit to Grenadians, I don't think anybody in their right minds will stand against it or to go against it for any political reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one thing to have these ideas and to make these promises to our young people. And then when the time comes to deliver on them, it seems pretty much a completely different story. And every time it appears that, you highlight these areas of inconsistencies, representatives of the government seem to get very upset, and supporters of the government seem to defend them, sometimes without a lot of reasoning. Here we have a scenario where you've played again. You have the Honorable Ron Redhead speaking about publicly again of bringing in young workers, Imani workers, into the system, but via contract. And you've had all the clippings from the Prime Minister, from the Minister of Finance, and so forth, clearly stating that, contract work is illegal, and then everybody's going to be regularized immediately as they take office. We're 2 years in, and that immediacy seems to be going forward in the form of contracts. And our young people ought to pay attention to that. I've seen what young persons have been able to take their what I would consider meager stipend from the Imani training and what they've been able to do with it. I've seen young ladies improve their homes, add internet, change furniture, add appliances to the kitchens, put in an extra room in the house, convert a part, put bathroom and toilet. I've seen them do so much with that little stipend that they receive. So that when you make them promises, it means that you are feeding into their dreams and their hopes, and they are going to make plans and so on based on those promises that you've given to them. Yesterday I've heard another presentation, press release from the Ministry of Health, and again, bringing in nurses into the system via contract again. And I'm wondering, well, why is it across the entire board, contract seems to be the name of the game when it comes to creating new employment within the public service? What has happened to regularization and parallel public service and all of that. It seems to keep public workers at peace. You give them one-off payments. You give doctors 1,000. You give nurses a little 500 for a particular period of time. You give some imanis 500. You give seed persons 200, but a certain category of them again. But when we're making the statements, we're making the statements to categorize everybody into one. So imanis will get 500, but not all imanis when you look at it. So our young people, it's no wonder that they're frustrated. It's no wonder that they're looking at alternatives to making a dollar and to taking care of themselves and their families. Now, mind you, I am not in any way supporting turning to crime and violence and so forth as an alternative to making your living. We have to find other ways, and we have to continue supporting our young people with programs that are targeted specifically for high-risk groups and so on and so forth. And, our education system and overall support as a community for our young people. But we also have to understand the level of frustration that they're going through. We have to understand the things that they were promised. They committed and gave their support. Obviously, many young people voted for the government. And now that we're seeing that they were blatantly deceived. So we cannot act surprised when they respond in ways that we would rather that they not. And so I want to appeal to our young people to not give up hope, to keep on keeping on, as they say, stick with the struggle, try to continue to educate yourself, try to look for the opportunities that are available for you out there, try to upgrade your skills and training so that more opportunities can become available to you. If you can get started in your own business, there's nothing better than that. So, I just wanted to use that opportunity to encourage our young people to keep hope alive, cooperate with the police force as they try to keep our nation safe. I saw a clipping today of a young man, I think, who acted very maturely in some altercation between a police officer and another young man who the officer was trying to arrest, I guess. And he felt that the young man was resisting to the officer, and he was being a bigger person, was able to kind of try and help rescue the situation. And I thought that was very mature. And the officer, accepted the help at some point in time. And we have, as a nation, we all have a responsibility to our youth and our young ones and to keep this nation peaceful and thriving. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to reach out and make this plea and this appeal, and again also appeal to the government to hold steadfast to the promises you make to young people. And if you know you cannot deliver on these types of promises, don't make them, because you're tampering with people's hopes and dreams. And the thing about youth is that they have the energy, they have the willpower, they have the mindset to do great things once provided the opportunity. But when you trample on their dreams, they also turn that energy sometimes into negative things. And that's not what's going to bring Grenada forward to achieve Vision 75.
Okay, thank you so very much, my brother.
All right, man. You have a good night.
You have a good one. Yes, indeed, folks. 440-7377. I just got a message from an Imani trainee here. And this Imani trainee, after they received their stipend, has been left with $25. So I saw one this morning that showed me they were left with $95. This trainee is even worse. This trainee has been left with $25 after they take out all that, after the takeout and everything. $25. Can't even properly buy lunch and go to work for one day with that. Yeah, $25 that they are left with. Yeah? And folks, when you're speaking about young people, the other day we had Sister Emlyn Pierre on, and we were speaking, and I was going through something and I found some photos from back in the days when you used to do youth work with the, things like this, the drug demand reduction strategy that you had in place, where you used to be doing programs with the young people and trying to get them to understand about alcohol and marijuana. No, our Prime Minister back in the days never used to lime and pose with marijuana tree when there are young people sitting in the mental home who have tripped off psychosis due to their body's inability to handle cannabinoids. It's what do you call it? Yeah, marijuana then. Unable to handle that. Yeah? right? So you had things like this where the young people were out there building houses and those sort of things. Yeah, under that, all of this took place under the New National Party. Yeah, you had these sessions, and so that the Honorable Emlyn Pierre, looking a lot younger there, although she still looked the same, right? Out there, that I believe was one of the parenting programs that the ministry had at that point in time, right? And quite a lot of different activities that the ministry, I could remember activities such as this one, which was an activity in St. Andrew. That was a parenting program that the Ministry of Youth had at that point in time, where you were working along with the young parents and teaching them skills and so on, giving them different skills, teaching them different things. So you had all of these things that used to take place. The Imani trainees, they had to be involved in community projects and so on. So, for instance, you had them involved in a project up at Fort Matthew where they did a cleanup and that sort of thing back in the days. This was when you had a Ministry of Youth. I don't know where you had it now. Yeah, I ain't even going further because some people might start to cry. Right, I ain't even going further. But this is when you had a Ministry of Youth, not what you have there now. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah? So I was saying, just before I took the call, I was saying that it is important for you to make sure that you are registered. Yeah? Even though I believe I'm registered, I still check in. Because next thing, some kind of thing take place and all kind of see me and my name end up off the list. And I'm walking around telling everybody get registered, we are registered. And next thing my name do they? Nah. I'm making sure my name there still. Right? So you have to double check, make sure that your name is still there, you're still registered. Also, remember, friends, family, co-workers, yeah? Your fellow congregants in the church. You're going to church with them and you ain't making sure that they're registered? Yeah? You have to make sure that they're registered too. Yes, sister. Good morning. May the Lord bless you. We're going and register tomorrow. Nice, right? Yeah. Oh, your son is turning 18 next week, huh? Yes. Oh, yes, sister. Well, you know, as a birthday present, I am bringing him with me. We're going to go to Umbrellas. But before we go there, we go in and register. You understand? Nice. Them kind of thing. Make sure and get registered. Right? Because, you know, remember, a lot of people come in. A lot of people come in. And some are people who may not have been here for 20 years, 30 years, etc. They come in. And a lot of them make sure that they got registered. Yeah? A lot of them make sure that they got registered. The next time you might even see them in Grenada might only be when an election is called. You might see them here. And they are coming to make a decision for you. And these are not necessarily the people who are the ones that send the barrels and help their family down here, or help to keep Grenlec or Nawasa or so from cutting off the utilities, or help children to go to school, or provide the school books and uniforms and so on, and assist children in the community. And so these may not necessarily be them kind of people. They may not be the people like Nurse Maguire and so on, who organize various groups of people, whether which government is in power. They make sure they organize groups of health professionals to come to Grenada to provide services to the people of Grenada that may otherwise not be available, or may be available but too expensive. So that whether it's a dental team, that people like Dr. Julie Dubois here, working along with people out in the diaspora, able to get the dental teams to come in and do different projects here, or people like Nurse Maguire, who is able to organize, and the Grenada Nurses Association out there, who always organize and come back. And even if they're not coming to Grenada, they're sending stuff, whether it's a container, whether it's 2 containers, whether it's boxes of stuff, but always sending down stuff to assist with the healthcare system in Grenada. Just remember, some of the people that come down and register don't do any things that these people do. But they just like a person. You don't see pretty. So they come and register with the intention of coming back to vote, to give you back that individual as your prime minister. The individual that 1 week and 4 days now still has not broken a word, and they can't use the excuse now, the on island has not broken a word in relation to what has been taking place with crime and violence in this country. Not a word. Yeah? Not a single word. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to get on to the inside of tonight's program. And 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to get onto the inside of tonight's program. They say what? This government lies immediately. We're talking about this. This you're talking about, yeah? This thing, let me see.
Government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service.
That's what we're talking about when they say this government lies immediately. They lie immediately, they hide immediately, they fire immediately, they keep silent immediately. Well, that's true. That is more than true. 440-7377. Good night to you, Candy. Right. 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Ollie, so we gain what a Trinidadian coming to be the head of. I wonder if he had Grenadian family. I wonder if he's just a pure Trinidadian or he's a Grenadian family and connections. But anyway, so he coming into thing, right? Okay. Folks, let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Good night. Go right ahead, caller.
Yeah. I was somewhere this afternoon, and I was talking to someone. It really told me there was a young man, girlfriend ended up in the hospital. And after the doctor examined her, she had also get some medication. And Brother Sheldon, no medication in the hospital. They give her a prescription. When she come home with the prescription, we know what the boyfriend had us to do? Go and dig some yam and to go and sell it to get him money to go and buy some medication for your girlfriend. That's what he have to do. When the things bad in the country, health bad, no medication. I remember the former Minister of Health said that they get medication. But they get medication, I know the medication out in the ocean waiting to commercial. And that's a long time since last year that he said that. So you see, these ministers and them, they lie. Every time you hear they open them out, they set their lies. They lie. Like if the truth, if they speak the truth, they will go in heaven. If they speak the truth, they will go in hell. And when they lie, they go in heaven. Men who is to preach the word of God and speak the truth, now the truth becomes a lie. And the lie becomes a truth. But there is a God above. Everything a man does, he has to pay price.
All right, great. Thank you. Let me warn all you. Let me take the time and do it again. Brothers and sisters, make sure all you get registered. Right? Make sure that you all get registered. If I were to tell you all that ballot boxes where they have been stored were cleaned, like you're getting them ready for an election or something, were cleaned and neatened within the last 24 hours or so, you would say are crazy. But let me tell all you, it has been done. Have you checked to make sure that you are registered? Have you ensured that your name is there? Have you ensured that all the other people that you know are supportive of having Grenada placed back on the right track? You know that they support. Have you made sure that they are registered too? And don't take it for granted. Check for my name too. Check for mine. Sheldon on radio and he talking, check your name too. That's the attitude you have to have, you know. Let me give you all a joke here. In the 2013 election campaign, the Sunday before election, big motorcades going all over. NNP had the motorcade, NDC had the motorcade. So NDC's motorcade was passing through Springs where I was staying at that point in time. While they were passing through Springs, I had some friends who, they're members of the NDC, but they're on the truck and they're passing, Sheldon, yellow, yellow. And all that time, everybody know I was on radio and so on. Everybody knows I don't support the NDC. So they're passing, Sheldon, yellow, yellow. And I say, hey, and they're now waving. That's my friends. What we expect me to do? All they move from there and cuss them. And no, anybody that know me know I'm not that type of guy. So are there. But as soon as they pass, I just went inside and checked the voters list. None of them was registered to vote. So all where they was on the truck and they was waving yellow, yellow, and Sheldon, yes, yellow. They went for a lime. But I ain't stupid. Let me make sure if these people could vote or they can't vote. So they were passing on the truck, Sheldon, yellow, yellow. Yeah, man, hey, all right, hey, sweetheart, hey. I'll go back inside, I'll pull up the voters list, check. They're not registered, no way on the list. In another Caribbean territory, went through similar. And I always use the example because I want you all to understand how serious this is. There was a young lady. Everywhere the campaign went, she was with the campaign. Every single, and this was one of the frontline people. There's one of the people, like if you have a steel band, you know, back in the days they have a flag girl in front waving the flag. That was the person who would be in front everywhere where the campaign went. Election day, they can't vote, they ain't registered. Because everybody watching them and thinking, well, no, let me check on this person, let me check on that person. They didn't check on her. And she wasn't registered. When the candidate lose, they come crying. Oh, what you come crying for? You contribute to the loss. You did not get yourself registered. So if I say the cleaning ballot box, if I say the cleaning ballot boxes, I'm telling you all, make sure that you get registered. If you're not yet registered, go and get registered. All you know, I doesn't say thing just so. All you know, I doesn't just come here and say thing just so. Get yourselves registered. Get yourselves in a position that once that bell is rung, that will be the final bell for them. The people who do not care. The people who lack emotional intelligence to the point of where up to now, where Grenadians are concerned about various issues, they have no care of what Grenadians are concerned about. Their only concern was to make sure they went in parliament and double their salary. Their only concern is to make sure that how much of millions, the millions that were being spent around the independence time and still being spent are being spent with their friends and their associates and in some instances themselves. Yeah? That is what has been taking place. So people see a drone show and everybody, 500 drones. Okay, we see 500 drones. What if 500 houses? What if 500 for the Imani? That you promised because you promised 500 for the Imani. What if 500 for the Imani? Where is the 500 for the nurses that some of them still waiting? And then you bring contract for the nursing assistants and tell them, sign that. And they bring it after 4 in the afternoon and tell them they have to sign it by 12 o'clock. After we speak about it here the night, you know what happened the next day? They tell them, oh, all it misunderstand what we say, man. It's not that we ask all it to do. But by that time, many of them had already signed it and brought it in. But they come back and say, when some of them say, well, no, I want the union to take a look at this, so I want somebody to take a look at this document because I believe this document needs to be vetted before I put my signature to it. You can't tell me I have to sign a document that no, I can't get anybody to look at and just bring it in by midday tomorrow. You say, you're out of order. So when some of the nurses stood up and they say, oh no, we just wanted to know what all you think about it and if all you're okay with that and so on. But it backdated to the year 2022. In 2024, it backdated 2 years ago to June 2022 to June 2024. But they want them come and append their signature to it now. And they already say that contract work is illegal, innit? They have said to you that contract work is illegal and they will get rid of that immediately. Somebody says immediate lies. Immediate lies. So people see 500 drones and wow, I liked it too. It looked nice. But I see the 500 drones, but I still saying no. Where the 500 houses? Where the 500 for the nurses that not getting it, that were promised it and not getting it? Where's that? The 1,000 for the doctors. All Imani were promised 500. All you change it afterwards. But all you make not a mistake. Not a mistake when it came to all your salary. When it came to make sure that all you're getting what is $13,000 or $14,000 a month, all you ain't make a mistake there. But you have trainees going home at $25. Trainees going home at $95. And even some who used to go home at like a 400 and something, they drop down to 300 and something, or they drop to the low 400s. That is what you all more interested in yourselves. So your friends, people you go to school with, and you contact through different organizations now, so you're bringing them up from Trinidad, give them job. You bring them from here, give them work, St. Kitts, wherever. Bring them, give them work. Let them do the dirty work, and then you just send them back in their country afterwards, isn't it? Let them do the dirty work and come and persecute Grenadians, and then send them back where they come from afterwards, and then absolve yourself and say, well, oh gosh, we didn't know they was doing all that. Let me use a quick example before I go. Many years ago, back in old time days, when the King of England wanted to build a new castle, or the King of France wanted to build a new castle, you know what they used to do? They had a thing called the Chancellor of the Exchequer, especially in England. The Chancellor of the Exchequer was basically like the Minister of Finance. So when you want to build a new castle, you just impose new taxes on the people, you get more money, and you build a new castle. When they build a new castle now, and the castle finished, and they furnish it and everything, and the people ready to rise up in revolution against them, the king used to kill the Chancellor of the Exchequer. He bring him, and he make the axeman take his head off. He say, but I didn't know this man was doing all this thing. I didn't know all this thing going on. And he absolved himself, and all the people say, oh, the king is so great. The king loved people so much. Look, he get rid of the Chancellor of the Exchequer. But the king get a castle. He make sure he get a castle, and he was the one that put the Chancellor of the Exchequer there. So when you see the taking people from all over the place and they bring in and putting them in certain positions, recognize the positions that they're putting them into. They're putting them into positions that they are politically expedient. So you put them there, you get them to do all your nasty work. And then you could just tell them, well, okay, your contract is ended, back in your the same illegal contract. Your contract is ended, go back in your country. So don't get it twisted. This thing ain't happening just so. You're not seeing people coming here as CEO or this and in charge of lands and all kind of thing coming in, and who in Ministry of Health terrorizing restaurants all over the country. Don't feel it happening just so. They know very well what they're doing. They are very aware of what they're doing. Don't think they're stupid, you know. They might be incompetent. Very much so. But always think that all of them should know what they're doing. Right? And we're going to take what's going to be our final call before we leave today. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, good night.
Good night, how are you, alright?
Yes, sir, quite fine. Go right ahead. We have to take this one quickly because we're about to close off.
Yeah, I'll take it quick. Sheldon is the negative talk show host.
Okay, well, you have nothing to say, so bye-bye. Right, yeah. Folks, that is all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. Yeah, you could go on another program with that. We don't have time to waste with them kind of nonsense. Remember, tomorrow night, it's going to be the Friday Night Forum. Yes, it's going to be the Friday Night Forum tomorrow night. All right, so definitely look forward to interacting with each and every one of you folks. Just remember, get registered. Get yourselves registered. Don't think I just tell all you about the ballot box and things just so. It actually happened. Nice? Get yourselves registered. Make sure that you are in a position that anytime an election is called, that you have the opportunity to cast a ballot. Yeah? The only way you can seriously help your political party, outside of being one of the people involved in the election day activities as to getting people to and from the polls, etc., is by making sure that you for yourself can cast a vote, and your candidate doesn't end up as the one in 1972 elections in St. Patrick East that lost by exactly 1 vote. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out of here. We'll see tomorrow night, God's willing, or as the Muslims say, inshallah. Yeah.